questions 6, 42 and 50 are all on the same subject, so I intend to take them together. First call, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you, Mr. President. I'd like to ask the Minister for Infrastructure what plans he has to open the railways this season, noting, of course, that this question was put down before the Minister's announcement.
Mrs. Caine, Honourable Member for Garff.
Thank you, Mr. President. I'd like to ask the Minister for Infrastructure when the Heritage Railways will start operating, whether a scaled-down timetable has been considered, and at what estimated cost services could be provided this summer.
And Mr. Moorhouse.
Thank you, Mr. President. I would like to ask the Minister for Infrastructure what progress has been made with the amended timetable for the railways during the summer season of 2020.
On the Minister for Infrastructure to reply.
Thank you, Mr. President. I would like to thank the honourable members and Mr. President for allowing me to answer all three questions together. I'm pleased to confirm, as has been announced recently, that the Steam Railway and Manx Electric Railway will both operate 4 days a week during the school holiday period this summer, with the first service running on the 23rd of July. I recognise that although there isn't going to be a proper visitor season this year, we have to do what we can to encourage residents to have a staycation and to show the best of the island to our friends from Guernsey. And we were able to do this by offering a scaled-down timetable. The Steam Railway will operate from Thursday the 23rd of July until Sunday the 13th of September 2020, operating from Thursdays to Sundays and additionally on bank holiday Monday the 31st of August. Departure from Douglas are at 9:50, 11:50, 13:50 and 15:50, with return journeys leaving Port Erin at 10, 12, 2 p.m. and 4 p.m. The Manx Electric Railway will operate from Saturday the 25th of July until Sunday the 13th of September 2020. It will operate Saturdays to Tuesdays and additionally on the bank holiday on Friday the 28th of August 2020. There will be 8 return journeys from Douglas to Ramsey commencing at 09:40. It is estimated that the marginal cost of offering these services will be £51,000, less income from ticket sales. And so, despite having offered up the budget as a saving for this year, I am able to respond to the changing circumstances facing our island and do what is best for our overall economy. If the services are as popular as I expect them to be, I hope that the railways can be operated without any additional net cost to the taxpayer. There will also be a separate programme for the dining train, which will be issued separately, and the full timetable should be available by the end of this week. The Tynwald Mountain Railway will not be operating. I hope this has answered all the three questions asked by the honourable members, and I'm hopeful that we'll have a good, if short, season and would encourage the public to enjoy a day out by train. Thank you, Mr. President.
Supplementary, Mr. Speaker.
One supplementary in two parts, so I may, Mr. President. Firstly, it's always been said that the Tynwald Mountain Railway is the more profitable element of the railway network. What's the reason for not operating that? And secondly, what arrangements is the Minister making in terms of those people who either have an annual ticket or be looking to buy an annual ticket, given the significantly reduced range of services for the current year? Thank you.
Minister to reply.
Thank you, Mr. President. The Tynwald Mountain Railway may be, according to Mr. Speaker, more profitable. However, when we looked at the marginal costs and the operational implications of getting these services restarted, we felt that focusing on the two services, the Manx Electric Railway and the Steam Railway, gave the best return for the cost to the department, and actually the break-even number of passengers we needed to travel was lower on those other services. So, plus the implications of restarting the Tynwald Mountain Railway were more significant than the others. In terms of annual tickets, I mean, clearly we never started the services for this year. And the intention was not to run any services at all. So I don't know how many people have bought those annual tickets, but I'm sympathetic to look at the situation. If they have and there's evidence, I'll pick that up within the department. But actually, we're moving from a situation where we had no services running to a situation where we're having a limited, targeted offering over the school summer holidays for the wider benefit of the island. Thank you.
Honourable Member Mrs. Caine.
Thank you, Mr. President. I'd like to ask the Minister for Infrastructure if he appreciates the value of Heritage Railways to the Isle of Man. would he think it would be a shame if Snaefell Mountain Railway didn't operate on the 20th of August for its 125th anniversary? And could he supply the costs that are so prohibitive in getting it up and running? My understanding is that one is actually nearer to being able to be operated than the MER, with half of the southbound track in Groudle, past Groudle, still not completed. So I'd ask would he reconsider whether any services could be operated on the Snaefell Mountain Railway, particularly for the celebration of the 125th anniversary, but also for the thousands of staycationing residents who might be tempted to start a long history of travelling on the various railways as part of their staycation on the Isle of Man.
Minister to reply.
Thank you very much, Mr. President. I'd thank the Honourable Member for Garff for the question. I would absolutely state that I do appreciate the value of the Heritage Railway offering as part of our tourism offer and as part of making the Isle of Man a special place to live. I think it's more questionable about whether it's really part of the island's travel infrastructure, and that's something that I want to look at as part of my plans to review the way in which the department operates and the scope of its services. Whether there is a better home for that very valuable Heritage Railway on the Isle of Man, and I look forward to working that through with colleagues and particularly the Minister for Enterprise over the coming months. In terms of the specific date of the 125th anniversary of the Snaefell Mountain Railway, I appreciate that is a significant number. However, good marketing people are able to create many marketing opportunities for people to take advantage of significant anniversaries or birth dates or heritage events. I'm very loath to open the railway for one day, and I think I will take the question back and look at what can we do in the department as to celebrate that anniversary in an appropriate way. But I think we need to think innovatively and not just be bounced into opening up a service for one particular day, although I do appreciate there are many enthusiastic people who do very much value the heritage railways, and we're trying to take a balanced approach here. We've given away the budget because there is no tourist season. We're trying to do something positive. The easy answer would have been to have left it shut. We haven't done that. We're working with the Department for Enterprise, and I will reflect on the comments that have been made and give them due consideration.
Honourable Member Miss Edge.
Thank you, Mr. President. Just to pick up on what the Minister's just said there, he's given away the budget. Is that the 750th? I'd like the Minister to confirm where's this budget gone? What budget is he giving away? Also, with regards to the 125th anniversary of the Snaefell Mountain Railway, the Minister needs to be aware that there has already been some marketing around that and a lovely set of stamps produced, but I think it's really disappointing that the Minister is not prepared during such an important time for the Snaefell Mountain Railway to not consider it. So I'd like to ask the Minister, he said there's break-even numbers, can he tell us what they are? If he doesn't have them with him today, can he please provide to all honourable members the business case behind these decisions?
Minister to reply.
Thank you very much, Mr. President. To clarify my comment about the budget, like every department, and as the Treasury Minister explained yesterday, all departments did a line-by-line review of their departmental spend and their capital programme as part of the budget reforecast that was presented yesterday. As part of that, the assumption for the operating of the heritage railways was that they were not going to be operated this year on the reason that there is no tourist season. So we effectively reflected our budget submission back to Treasury on that basis. When we're in the position of being able to open things up on the island, which is a great position to be in, we were contacted by a number of people, and the question was asked about what could we do, and we looked at the implications of it, looked purely on a marginal cost basis of the extra costs that would be incurred by operating as opposed to not operating, because a lot of the costs of the Heritage Railways are fixed costs of engineering and staff and maintenance. And we looked at what could we do on a limited basis to give a credible offering for our people who are staying on the Isle of Man and for our visitors from Guernsey. We've come up with a balanced proposal here, which has been pretty well supported. Of course, we could go further, and of course we will look at the demand, because obviously if the trains are full, then it shows that people want to travel, and we can potentially put on additional services because the revenue will be generated from them. But I'm not going to make any commitments on the fly here to change the decision that the department made to run the electric railway and the steam railway. And I do thank the Chairman of the Post Office for highlighting the excellent work that Isle of Man Post Office has done and does in many different ways in terms of the commemorative stamps and working with the department, and particularly the Transport Services Division in putting that stamp collection together, which I do very much appreciate.
Honourable Member Mrs Caine, then Miss Edge, then we move on.
Thank you, Mr President, and I thank the Minister for his response. I think he said that the cost of running the weekend services of the two railways was in the area of £51,000. So that is a very small amount considering the impact it's going to have on the economy, particularly of Laxey and probably Castletown and Porthaven in the south. But in terms of not running the Snaefell Mountain Railway, is the Minister aware that many of the staff who work every single season, year after year, on Snaefell, many of whom reside actually in Garff or near the railway because of their love for it, they are not eligible for benefits. They are possibly early retired, and others. They have no income this year because of COVID, and they are missing out on the small amount of income that they may have from operating services. And in addition, the economy of Laxey will be impacted by the shorter amount of operating days, and it would get a significant boost with the hordes of people that we often see queuing all the way out of the station to get on the Snaefell Mountain Railway. So I'd ask again, for reasons of economy and others, would he consider reviewing and opening perhaps for a month to coincide with the MER times, the Snaefell Mountain Railway? And my final point is to query, who does he see running the railways if he doesn't see it as a public transport? I think he suggested it should go somewhere else to be operated. For parts of Macclesfield, the Banks Electric Railway is the main source of public transport because there are no buses around the area. Thank you, Mr President.
Minister.
Thank you, Mr President. I acknowledge the point that the Honourable Member for Garff is making. In an ideal world, we wouldn't have had COVID. We'd have a tourist season in full swing. We'd have our visitors who would be having a wonderful experience here on the Isle of Man. That's not happening. We're hoping it's going to happen next year. There's very little justification for putting services on when we haven't got, for a tourist proposition, when we haven't got any tourists. And that was a decision that we made. We looked at, in conjunction with requests that had come in, and I know the Minister for Tourism was keen to see something done. We looked at what could we do in a financially responsible manner to actually inject some positive activity into the island, particularly for families who are having a staycation, who are looking to do something different. Now, of course, if you're not running the services, you're not employing those people, and it's regrettable, but it's the way it is at the moment. There's lots of people who've had their whole lives taken upside down by what's happened in COVID. I would rather turn this round in terms of Laxey, and I would actually put a challenge down to the people of Laxey and say, you've got these visitors coming to Laxey. They're now not going to be spending the time going up the mountain, spending the time at the top of the mountain and then coming down. Make it attractive for them to spend time in Laxey. Laxey is a fantastic place. There's places to eat, places to drink. Garff Commissioners are a tremendous local authority. I'm sure they could put on events. They put on a brass band contest last year, which I know both honourable members from Garff were at. It's that sort of innovation.
They're doing it in August. They'd like a tram as well up Snaefell.
They've got to look innovatively and look at what we can do rather than what we can't do. And the challenge for me is the people of Laxey and Garff commissioners to take ownership of this and actually give people real reasons for coming to Laxey, whether it's on the bus or the train, and to have a great day out in Laxey with the beach and the attractions down there. But moving on to the more longer term point that the members made around how should Heritage Rail be organised, that's what we need to consider as a council of ministers. And as I indicated earlier, I'm going to be working with the Minister for Enterprise to actually look at what the options may be to put it into a home that's right for its long-term sustainability and success. It may be a way in which people in certain areas of the island travel for day-to-day activity, but I cannot accept that it's an integral part of our core public transport infrastructure. It is an important part of our visitor proposition. It's part of what makes the Isle of Man special and distinctive. It needs to be in the right place to ensure that it's looked after and thought about in the right way, and that perhaps it can integrate more with some of the other very valuable tourist propositions that we have on the Isle of Man. Thank you, Mr. President.
Final supplementary, Miss Edge.
Thank you, Mr. President. I'm just wondering whether the Minister can confirm that having the 50p bus fare that I don't believe possibly didn't have concurrence from Treasury because it wasn't in the budget yesterday, hasn't impacted on any services on the railways. But what I would like to ask the Minister, because he didn't confirm, is can he please circulate the business case to decide on what railways opened this year? Thank you, Mr. President.
Part was the latter part of the question, the business case. The 50p bus has nothing to do with this question. Mr. Baker.
Thank you very much. I'm really struggling to understand what level of minutiae this honourable court wants to get into here. We've made a decision to put on something positive at a marginal cost of £51,000. The business case will be determined by how many people use the service. I believe that it will be broadly self-financing. That's the basis on which we've made the decision. It allows us to move forward positively, to create some experiences for families and for the visitors that we do have, and that's the basis on which we're doing it. We'll know at the end of it what did it cost us and what was the revenue we got back, and at that point we'll be able to assess whether it was a good decision or not. But that modest £51,000 risk is going to deliver something positive for the people of the Isle of Man. It's going to drag people to Laxey. It's going to drag people to Castletown and Port Erin. Drag on the train. It's a technical term, Mr. Robertshaw. And it covers both electric propulsion and steam propulsion. It's going to bring those people.
The questions that are dragging on.
It's going to bring those people to those towns. They're going to create activity, supporting local businesses, local eateries, and it will help people get to different parts of the island to really enjoy what makes the Isle of Man special. Thank you.